with all due respect, I think Jasmine is an obnoxious fool, is what I think. And here's why. She comes from ultra elite lifestyle, existence, living, whatever you want to call it. She's rich, right? Very, very privileged. But her whole shtick is complaining about how bad people who look like her have it in this world.
But let me tell y'all something. I know some of y'all have been frustrated and you've been saying, where are the Democrats? Where are our leaders? Well, I'm here to tell you that we ain't never left y'all. All right? We are here. We are also going to make sure that they uphold the law. We are not going to sit around while you go ahead and desecrate our Constitution, or you look at the laws that have been passed into law and say, never mind, we'll just ignore that. Instead, we are going to be in your face, we are going to be on your asses, and we're going to make sure you understand what democracy looks like. This ain't it. So let me tell you something, Mr. Trump. You gonna learn a few lessons from us.
First of all, thank you for making the back of my head famous. But second of all, if we could do a sequel, if you could tell Donald Trump anything tonight, what would you tell him?
I would tell him to grow a spine and stop being Putin's hoe.
You can go wherever you want to go with this, but what do you think of these stunts, this language, the way they're presenting themselves, in 2025? It's just unbelievable.
With all due respect, I think Jasmine is an obnoxious fool, is what I think. And here's why. She comes from ultra elite lifestyle, existence, living, whatever you want to call it. She's rich, right? Very, very privileged. But her whole shtick is complaining about how bad people who look like her have it in this world. That's part of how she got to where she's at. But this whole, we're gonna fight and we're gonna bust your, she uses the curse words and she's using all these words to describe our president who's done nothing. And you can go back in his past, he's done nothing but try to help people, right? From Jesse Jackson all the way up. It's sad. And when people look at her and they shake their head, those people, I think yeah, Jasmine sucks, right? And how she conducts herself is absolutely embarrassing. She's not a real Texan, and I think it's a shame that she gets to go up there with the Texas on her jersey, and she's not even a real Texan. But I think they're more just sad that she even made it there, right? I think it speaks more to the people of our district, not just the people, but our system, right? Like, how is it working out here to where someone like her can move here, convince enough people, people in power in the local Democratic Party to put money and resources behind her and then send her to Capitol Hill to behave like that. Like, that is more sad and more scary than what she's actually doing and what she's saying. And so my campaign is more than just trying to get Jasmine out of office. We're trying to clean up Dallas from the ground up. It is truly a grassroots revolution. It really is.
To me, it reminds me of what people back in the day would call a minstrel show of some sort. Especially when you see some of these clips of her from back in the day when she was, a lot more subtle. She was a lot more articulate. She did not, speak and represent herself the way that she is today. And you can see that this isn't her for real. This is not a real thing. And she's just putting on a show. She is acting. And I want to know who put the battery on her back to go out here and put this ghetto girl shtick out there, and who told her that this would actually resonate with the people? Well,
She's Soros backed. That's one thing. And then two, Kamala drained the Democratic Party's coffers. She busted them. They were broke. They needed somebody to get out here and just do anything to stay in front of the cameras so that we can send out these emails to our donors and try to at least pretend like we're mounting some type of comeback. And so that's what Jasmine's role has been up until now. I think she thought that in exchange for her showing her butt like that they were going to maybe offer her a nomination to the Oval Office. But we're seeing now that, now that the people have kind of digested what she offers and kind of chewed her up and they're spitting her out and they're kind of tired of that, they're throwing her away. And AOC is being elevated, right? Her and Bernie Sanders, and they're going back to the tried and true deal of let's just pander and offer people free stuff and point to the rich people and say those are the bad guys. And so that's what we're going to see more of in the weeks to come.
Yeah. The crazy thing is that you have the very people that she is supposed to be identifying with, they're looking at her crazy because they're like, we don't talk like that. Like who are you really trying to represent? We're not like that. That's not us for real. It's just so crazy, man. I just don't I don't understand like why you would take that check and go out there and represent like that, especially when you look at the family that she comes from.
Yeah, because she's not really one of us. It's funny that she used that song, They Not Like Us, which is really, that was like a subtle, like passive aggressive shot at me. Really is what she's trying to say is I'm not like, the South, which is so funny to me because I am the South. Like she's not like us. There's not a school in our district that costs $55,000 or $35,000. Most of the young men in my district at some point in time either came up with a single parent or their best friend or their cousin or somebody single parent. That's what I come from. I don't come from my dad makes millions of dollars from going and talking in a pulpit and selling people hope for years, right? My mom busted her butt. She washed floors. She changed sheets. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference there. And so Jasmine has to pretend and she has to go over the top, right? To try and hit on those cultural cues. Whereas I just come outside and go grab a sandwich or something and I can film it and post it on TikTok. And I'm accomplishing what she's claiming to accomplish just by being myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seems like it's working. It's a grassroots effort. But I think a lot of people are looking for grassroots efforts. And I think that's what makes the independent side of media thing so good is that you have a lot of people that are sick and tired of these legacy systems, these people that have been propped up, and they're looking for just real and honest. And I think that's probably boding well for you at this point.
Yeah, it is. I'm absolutely riding that wave, and I'm using everything at my disposal to try and bring some real change. The people in my district, I'm gonna leave on this. They're really good people. They're hardworking people, from the poor to the rich. Everybody just kind of wants to get along. Texas already has this vibe of just kind of let me be free. I'll leave you alone. Let me do my thing, and we can all agree to disagree. People like Jasmine want to get rid of that. She wants us all at each other's throats while they rob us blind on Capitol Hill. And then we're left with nothing to do but to come to them and to beg them to take care of us. And so people are waking up to that. I'm showing people her voting record and they're like, wow, I didn't know that that's how she's actually voting behind closed doors. And so every single day we're winning over voters to the common sense side. And we're going to keep doing it. I hope that she keeps running her mouth.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, not only is her record bad, but the lack of record isn't good either. I mean, she's at like a 3.7, considered one of the worst, congressmen out there in the House for not even showing up and voting, which you're not even doing your job. We see you all over the place on TV, but you're not actually doing the job that the people elected you to go up and do. I think that is ridiculous, and people need to know that.
She was voting when no one was keeping track of her voting record and using it against her. But when I started publishing her voting record, now she doesn't have time to go vote. And then just yesterday, she put out a clip and she admitted that she is not a good politician and that maybe she should be doing something different because she's just ineffective at the job.
Let's talk first about this session, some of your goals. Is there anything you're trying to pass? How much of it is going on offense? How much of it is going on defense, trying to stop the Republicans?
Trying to pass? No. I should probably be a better politician and tell you, yes, we've got all this amazing legislation that I can absolutely imagine Donald Trump signing into law. And I'm just not gonna lie.
People that know what the job is see her for what she is. People who are still really confused or don't necessarily understand what a U.S. rep is really supposed to do might think that Jasmine is God's gift to this earth. But it's my job to go out and show them what a real representative is supposed to do. And that's what I'm trying to do every single day.
I hear that. I know you got a busy day. I know you got to get out of here. I want to share one more clip. It's a short one. I want to get your take on it, and then we'll get you out of here, man. But I definitely appreciate you pulling up today.
How many of you are sending your kids to college to go and work on them? Okay, well, guess who is working the farms? So that you can afford your food.
So that you can have food.
So that you can have food. Now, how many of you are looking to send your kids into hospitality after this college education so that they can go and make the beds at the hotels? How many of you are planning to send your kids to college? Because that's what we do here. We send everybody to college. How many of you are planning to send your kids to college so that they can then go and build these houses? So the reality is that so long as we live in a capitalist society, there's always going to be someone or a group of people that will do work that some of the rest of y'all don't want to do. These are the people that are really making us great in this country.
Wow.
Before you go, what we talked about earlier today, as history repeating itself.
Yep.
Those talking points sound a whole lot like a lot of the conversations that they were having back in the 1860s or mid 1800s, pre-Emancipation Proclamation. Who's going to pick our cotton? And then now you fast forward to who's going to pick our crops and gonna make sure that our fruit smoothies stay cheap. I mean, it just sounds like this is the same type of rhetoric that they were using way back when. That
verbatim was, the exact same rhetoric that they keep. I'm sure we could go look at the congressional record and maybe pull 100 speeches and juxtapose them to what she just said, and you wouldn't be able to tell which one said what, because she's saying the exact same thing. She's repeating the exact talking points that the Democratic Party used to keep black people in slavery, all those years ago. And now it's sad that, we have all these people in TX30 and really all over America that want to go into the trades, right? That want to work with their hands, and they necessarily don't want to go to college. A lot of people have been disillusioned with the whole college thing just by looking at how it's panned out over the past 20 years. You see all these people go pay all this money, get this degree, and then life doesn't pan out for them like it was supposed to. And so you now have a generation of kids who are looking for another avenue to realize that American dream. And rather than her taking that, this is what I mean, taking that opportunity to use her influence as a congresswoman to push those ideas, to offer solutions, what does she do? She just basically calls people slaves and says, we need to keep everything the same so we can keep having slaves, because they're what makes our country great. It's sad.
Yeah. I mean, not a whole lot has changed in reference to the Democrat Party. I mean, they've been the party of, slavery and free labor since its inception. Not much has changed with them. And now you see, the rhetoric, and not a whole lot has changed there. And it's just really, really sad that we have, black people, African Americans out here pushing for either free or cheap labor. But then on the flip side, we'll turn around and say that my people built this.
Right.
It's so hypocritical, man. It's just, when I heard that and watched that the first time, I'm just sitting there like, I cannot believe that this woman is out here doing this. I can't. Oh,
atrocious. I mean, it's shocking, man. Like I would think that someone on her team would say, you know what, Jasmine, I think you said enough. Let's keep you away from the cameras. Let's come over here and try to figure out how we can get one bill passed. Okay, let's do one. You didn't pass anything in the State House. It's looking like you're not going to be able to pass anything on Capitol Hill. Before this young man, Sholden Daniels, runs you out of here, can you at least try to get one law passed? But instead, she's going to reverse course and just smash the gas. I think she's going to try to see every camera, every microphone that she possibly can between now and November 3rd of next year.
Goodness gracious, man. Such an embarrassment. Such an embarrassment. And it seems like an embarrassment just for, Texas, District 30 out there. I know a lot of folks have reached out to me, in the comment sections and in the chat, and they're apologizing like, hey, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you get it too. You get it too.
But hey, man, I appreciate you pulling up today, man. Thank you, Sholden, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking the time to share your vision, your plans for District 30. It's really been a pleasure to have you on and just to be able to, just chop it up with you and have some good conversation, real conversation. I don't think a lot of times when people are running for office, they get to really have these types of conversations, and people get an opportunity to see who you are, as the man that you are, and what you're representing and what you're standing on. So I definitely appreciate that. Before we wrap up, let the voters know, let the people, that watch this channel, know how they can support you, where they can find you out here, on social media, and how they can support your campaign.
So you can find me on X. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Just type in Sholden Daniels, SHOLDON. And you can find my website at danielsforus.com, where you can learn more about me. You can sign up to volunteer and help us out. You can even make donations, and we really appreciate that.
There are a lot of people out there. I had mentioned it, in the live stream last week that, you and I were going to speak, and I was letting them know. And you have people that want to support you from all across the nation. I'm sure you see it, on X and on TikTok. You have people that they want to see Jasmine Crockett up out of here. So hopefully, I can play a small role in helping you, get in there and be a full-fledged representative, not only for TX 30, but for all of us, out here in the States. We need strong people in the House out there. We really do.
Thank you so much. And, when we win, let's continue the conversation.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp.